And we're live. Yes, we are. Okay. Hi, everybody. Let me change that. So, hi, everyone. Welcome to this stream for November session 8. Let's continue our experiments around. Let me reduce the sound. Okay, so let me continue the experiments around body interpretation. The main idea is always the same. Retrieve the vertices from a mesh in Unity and try to experiment around its visual body interpretation. Yesterday we made this rocky man look like a golem. I thought about what I would love to do today, and I have a lot of ideas, but some of them maybe take more time than others, so maybe I will need to prepare some of them a little bit. But I think I will continue the kind of nature experiments and try to explore more flower one. So basically, my idea here is to, as this rocky man, in fact, is to spawn some flower on the mesh. So for the one who's following me since a few months ago or few years on Instagram, you may notice that I kind of love working with flowers. I always have a lot of colors, so it's really interesting to work with them, and there is a lot of different shapes, etc. So nature and flora is kind of inspiring. I made a lot of flower experiments and etc., which is quite funny because at home in my apartment I didn't have any of them, so I love to work with digital flower, but I don't have them here. It's more it's a problem. I need to have more flower here. So yeah, I want to spawn flower on the mesh. So my idea is to use what we made yesterday, which is the ability to use the same compute shader at multiple time using the instance compute shader. So basically reusing two GPU mesh instances, and maybe we can simply grow the flower so you can see them growing, rotating around the vertex. So maybe going from nothing, then it grows, and then it's again grows back, I think, and revealing another one. So something like there is a flower on the side and another on the other side, and when the one grows, the other grows reduce, and when the top reduce, the other turn and growth. So might be interesting. For the one who's following me on Twitter also, you might know that I've experimented a lot lately with Houdini vertex animation texture, and I think later on this Codememo experiment we will use vertex animation texture to create more powerful animation on the GPU instances. Basically, it's a way to encode an animation into a texture, so you can have really a growth animation around the shape and etc. So it might be really interesting. But also, as my other idea, it takes time, so I think I will need to produce something before that. So for this flower experiment, I will only work with the growth from the compute shader and basic growth using only the scale. So this is the idea. Okay, so let's stop the play on Unity. First of all, I think we will need to find some flowers. So let me reopen Turbo Squid. I have some flowers I've downloaded a lot in different other projects, but I think I will go with others flower. So let's show something like don't know fauna. We want really flora, sorry, why fauna? Flora. I want something with more color, so okay. I have an idea. I think it was few months ago. I've simply googled avatar and I've found a lot of different pack of avatar inspired elements. So Google just starts. Okay, so why not try to revolve around this idea? Okay. First of all, let's try to find something which can be free, because my project is free, so I want something that can be I'm not sure I will find anything. Yeah, as you can see, maybe we can check some of them. Yeah, planetary fantasy. Yeah, fantasy might be a good name. Fantasy, a good tag. Fantasy flora. I think I will go on CG Trader, because I don't understand why Turbo Squid has not taking the tag. Okay, flora. So I want something. Let's say I want something free, so this will be okay. This will be this, and I can take FBX, OBJ, and I think maybe they have a Unity package. Yeah, they have a Unity package also. So let's try that. Okay, something like 5 to 10k. This is really too much. Okay. PBR. I think I will need to go with flowers I have another project. Maybe this one might be interesting. Having some different elements. What's that? Interesting. There is a lot of flower in it, so maybe by reducing a little bit the shape. In this one we have different kind of flowers, so might be interesting. It's free to download, so why not? And also this one, but I'm not sure how it works. This one is interesting. sure to use it, but this one is interesting. Maybe we can change it a little bit, or we can create our own by using another project. I think it might be a solution. I kind of like the bushes, the bushes look alike, but I'm not sure about the tree. Okay, so this one not, this one yes. Let's check another tag. The same, we want something free. We want FBX. We want OBG. And we want which one I said at last was, yeah, Unity package. Let me just relaunch the stream. Once again on Instagram, the stream has shut down, so it's really not a stable system. I think I will try to we check tonight how I can stream on Instagram with something more stable. Okay, we are back. So I'm searching something like some bushes, so something like that might be interesting. Okay. So yeah, this one might be interesting because it has a lot of elements, so why not? This one can be really interesting also. I'm not sure about this one, but this one. And some longer one might be interesting because if I want to rotate them by growing, it might be really interesting to have them turning like that. Okay. This is really beautiful, but I'm not sure. It goes away. Oh, I'm on Turbo Squid again. I need to close this one. We've seen this one. Yeah, this kind of look is interesting, playing with red and blue. Okay, I think we are good on this part, so I will try download this one just to check. This one I will keep it for later. This one also I will check. This one and this one maybe. I want to have some color on it, so maybe I'm thinking about this one. Let's check. Stick, a refill. Okay. Yeah, I'm a human. Find a train. Train, 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 train. Okay, yay, I'm human. Let's reload every pages so it will know that I'm logged. Okay, wait and see to download all the flowers package and see if we can use them. If not, I will need to go back on some older project we've made at the studio to find some good one. Oh, inaccessible, but it has downloaded the file, so no problem. Okay, let's check this one. There is a lot of texture in it, so I'm a bit concerned about it. What the fuck? Oh yeah, you cannot find a way to load this file. Okay, let's try this one. So I will take the blue3.obj and it doesn't have any okay, so this one doesn't have any texture, so this one I will take it for later. Let's try this one. Let's open Cinema 4D to check the first one. Okay, I blend. I don't need solo. Of course. On this one, I'm a bit. I think it would work. This one. We have a solo model, so it might be interesting. Let's try this one. Okay. So where we were, yeah, this. We wanted to try this one. How does the package look like? Look like it doesn't want to load the file. Huh. Yeah. Well, you cannot load the file. So the first one, this pack, is a beautiful fail. Okay. Let's try this one. This one is loading, which is good. So okay, on the FBX, I want the Skyline Max no, the 3ds no, and the texture, yes, I want it. Let's try this one. Interesting. It shows real texture for this one, for the oregano. And the oregano look like this one. Maybe the software from Microsoft can load it. Yeah, I can load it. She's quite beautiful. She is quite beautiful. Okay. Let's create a folder, name it oregano. I'll put this and the texture in it. Okay. So this is the texture for the oregano, I think. Yeah, this is the texture for the oregano. We have also this one, Babiana Blue Flower. Let's call this name Babiana. Babiana. Everybody is somebody. Okay. Okay, and the last one is basically the textures. So okay. This is interesting to have all the texture inside the same file, so we will have only one shape. So again, I'm quite confident. Yeah, little too gamey, but if we work well, might be interesting. It's more like a game element, but if I use, yeah, it might be interesting. And the blue tree seems really to be loading. Oh my god, how many elements does it has? Okay, let's cut C4D. It seems to be blocked for the blue tree. I will try if the Microsoft 3D viewer work. If it works, it might be interesting, but oh my god, yeah. Okay. I've seen this file. I know a 3D motion designer, which I heard him behind my back saying, "Wow, too many meshes." Yeah, of course, this file is huge, and of course it's huge. See this file, 20 megabytes. What? Okay. So if I need another flower, I will take some other projects. So let's continue. We'll work with the Babiana and the oregano. So the oregano seems interesting. So let's rename the file just to have something better. Go back to the okay. Go back to the start of the line. Hey. Okay. This is my oregano. This is my Babiana. The texture is in the subfolder, so why not? But taking this like that might be simpler for us. Going back here. The stream is always cut on Instagram for, even if I stream for what? Yeah, the stream just shut down every 50 minutes. Unity is not launched. Do we have something? No. Okay. Let's name this Flora. Okay, let's relaunch the Instagram stream. But if this stream is cut down again, I will avoid the stream on Instagram. I don't know why this is nuts. Apply, okay. Start the stream. Let's check. Okay, we are back online here. We're back on Instagram. Okay, so I've loaded my 3D model. California thought. I think the stream will cut down again, but I'm not sure. Okay, so for the one who's following on Instagram, I think there is nobody, but let me just say it. So the stream on Twitch will notice that if the stream is cut again in the few minutes, because the stream has cut every 15 minutes, so why not? If it's cut again, I will simply stop the stream on Instagram and we will continue on Twitch, so I will focus on the Codember experiment. So let's go back on our system. So this is Codember number 8. We have the idea of creating a Flora man. Basically, we have this beautiful golem walking right now, which is kind of interesting. So, as again, I need to prepare everything, which means basically just duplicate my little script there. Okay, so I have my script, compute 8, controller 8, and GPU mesh controller 8, and I need to change 2 of them because the name of the class doesn't match the name of the files. So as usual, I will rename these little bastards. Okay, I'm a little bit harsh on this stream today. Maybe it's because the stream has already cut down a few times, and I'm a little bit pissed about cutting on Instagram. So okay, so GPU mesh controller 8 and GPU controller 8. Perfect and perfect seems to be good for me. My computer seems to be a little bit slow. I don't know what process are running on the background, but let's check. Which is running? I need to cut this one, I think. Yeah. Okay. Cannot implicit convert from 8 to 7. Where did I make this? Yeah, I made this here. This little guy is here because we're now using multiple elements. I think this one will be more simple today. The animation is basically quite the same as the colors, as the lighting we made on the last one. Okay, working, replacing all the file here. So first of all, let's remove this one, so I will only have one. So sure, no problem. Okay, yeah, let's say we want 25. I think we will have more and more elements on this one, but let's start with 5. Okay, we start also with this, and yeah, this. Okay, and we'll start with a mind scale of 0, 1 to 1. We will see what is the scale of our 3D object at start. So let's try a 1, 1. Okay, so this one I don't need. Okay, my compute is here, and we need to create a new material. Let's take this one. We'll put this one here. It will be really different from this one, but I prefer to restart from one from yesterday. Okay, going back here. Now the mesh is here. 3D model, flora. Let's try the oregano. We have two. Yeah, we have the eye poly here, which has, oh my, too many elements. I think it was the Babiana which has less elements, and let's start with the Babiana because yeah, basically the Babiana, everything is on one OBJ, so I can start with one controller. I think for the oregano I will work with multiple controller, one per elements, and which will give us not this one but the circle bird. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Okay, yeah. Okay, too many vertices, so we will retake the oregano on C4D to simply use less vertices. I forgot to put the controller on, so here it is. Remove the component. So I think we have everything. I just need to change this by that. Okay, and the Babiana don't have any bump map, so I doesn't have any roughness also. I will keep the mouse for the moment. taking a little bit too long to compile. I don't know why. Oh, now I know why. Our man is too big. Okay. So our little guy here, our Babiana here is really too big. So let's reduce this little fellow. Seems to be this is big bushes. Okay, no problem. Let's say 0.01 for the two of them. Okay, now this is what I was talking about. So now we have a little bushes guy. Okay. So now we have an interesting scale. Let's first go back to the compute and fix some of the transforms. So I don't want the scale right now because remember the scale from yesterday was going from down to up, and basically we wanted to have big rocks on the bottom and smaller rock on the top of the golem. So we have this scale modifier from bottom to up using a curve. We also use time A and time per instance and time to the shader, and we will duplicate the shader in order to create a new one to apply for our math, because I want to get rid of the mosses. Okay. Now I want to get rid of the mosses. So the moss is here. Let's keep this for a moment. The moss is here. I want to get rid of that. Let's get rid of this part also. And now we don't need here a lamp on the noise for the moss. Basically we can okay, now we can take this and say no, we will keep everything from the normals. Okay, so this is part of the moss, this is the normal, this is the smoothness. Okay, glossiness is 0, metallic is 0, and the ruggedness right now, the ruggedness is right, so yeah, let's use that for a moment. Okay, nice point. Okay, so looks good for me. Uninspected and defier, yeah, I forgot the semicolon here. And I think if now I say I want 100 of element, I will have them. It takes some time to compile. I don't know why today it takes some time, but yeah. Okay. It's kind of interesting to have the lights. Maybe we will keep it. Look like some kind of little elements. I was thinking about orienting all the elements from for the normal, but as you can see, it's kind of interesting to have this. So let's say I want 1000 elements. So look like some kind of fireworks, so I think I will keep this part. Basically this is what I had in mind at first, but the random orientation is not really what I want. So let's go back to the coding board. Okay, so the GPU mesh controller is here. First of all, I want to reorient my flower on the normal. So okay, if I want to reorient the normals, the mesh on the normal, I might go back. I think it was this one, the 06, and yeah, I was taking the position and a target, a look, a rotation, etc, etc. In the controller, yeah, I use the normal, and the normal is always the same for yeah, it's a rotation. If I have something like that, do I need to get the normal every time? I don't know. Okay, let me check something. A little bit confused. Which one we've made the last time? I think my other experiment is not quite how can I say that, quite correct, because usually the normal will change if my object changes here. The normal is not the same, or is it? Oh, let's not focus on the normal, because if I put the mesh along the normal, okay, then it will rotate every time, so I don't need to think about it. I don't need a new normal every time, etc, etc. So no, I just need a reference, so that's not a problem. So I don't need this part, and we will go back here. So yeah, we had the position, the target, and the look, and we have this one. Okay, so basically I'm taking this, put this here. So the position, of course, is based on a random value. Now, okay, so this is not this one. Position, target, okay, look, rotation, quaternion. So now if the pivot is correct, I can also change something in the compute. As you know, we have an offset here, a quick random position around the let's keep it. This random position was if I have too many, if I have more instances than vertices to spawn on, it was a little offset to have two instances just not overlapping. So it's, if the offset is not really, so the random index does not, oh yeah, index t, okay. Okay. Let's wait. It will take some time today to compile. What? Where is okay. Unity has jumped from a screen to another, why not? Okay, so we have our little guy here which is oriented. It's strange to look like we cannot see some of the flowers sometime. Maybe it's because you can see some flowers. It seems we cannot see all the flowers, so let's check why. I think it's because the shader is not is cutting the back face. I think is that the problem. Is the problem. So let's put simple flower here. Going to check where is it. Okay, it's here. So as you can see, you cannot see the flower where it's on this back face, and the normal seems to be inverted. So one way to change that is simply add the back face, enable the back face. So if I want to disable the back face culling, I will simply say cut off on the shader. And by using the cutoff here, I will see now my OBJ, even if the face are not facing the camera. So basically, how the backface cutting works, it depends on the normal of the shape. So if the normal are pointing the camera, the face is visible. If the normal are pointing in the same direction than the camera, then the back face will not be visible. And now we have some interesting flower man. This is basically what I've had in mind. We can now reduce a little bit the number of elements. Okay, So new news on the Instagram feed. As I said, Instagram kind of drop and cut the feed every 15, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. It's really not that stable. So I will stop the feed for Instagram because I cannot relaunch Instagram every 15, 30 minutes. I cannot check every time. So let's change this. So no Instagram today. Okay. So we will continue our journey using only. Let me cut OBS Studio. Okay, so we continue our journey here only using only using Twitch. Then I can simply have more. Okay, I can have more space for the view. I hope by cutting the stream it will have more events. So yeah, I was simply launching my little guy with less flower, just to check if I was right by setting this on the normals, just to say if it's facing correctly. So it seems it's facing correctly. As you can see, the flower seems to face directly the outside of the shape. So we can go back to 100 of elements. So yeah, what I want to do now is changing the scale and changing the rotation. So the rotation, we have not done it. So maybe we can, before changing any of this, maybe we can simply put the animation aside for a moment. Okay, so let's try something more fix for a moment, just to think. Okay, so the idea, I think, is to put a little randomness inside our mesh. So we have some randomness inside the position, but maybe we can somehow have randomness on the orientation. So as you can see, this is our little guy here. It has a lot of flower in it, so this is good. But maybe we can put some randomness inside these little guys because it's fully oriented on the same way. So by simply again changing this, maybe we can put something like that. So let's say we will create a new float variables. So it's not the model description, but it will be here. Let's say public float max random rotation, and this will be a range value between 0 and 1. And what I have in mind for this is simply creating a random rotation between minus 180 degree and 180 degree, so basically a 360 degree on each side of each vertex of the gizmo of the axis. So on the y-axis, on the x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis, and by taking this range, I will multiplying my vectors. So I will have maybe a random between just 10% of this 180 degree on both sides. This is my idea. So this will do after this element. So the quaternion will be multiplied by a new quaternion, okay, which will be the earlier angle of a new vector 3, and basically if I don't want to rewrite everything, I can take some of the elements I have in the shader from yesterday. So it was this one is the shader in the experiment from yesterday. So this was my random rotation. I will create a new quaternion just to have some kind of reference. So quaternion R&D rot for rotation. Okay, this will be that, and I will multiply the rotation by our quaternion. So this is okay, and if I want to be sure, I will simply put my multiplication, I think, here. So how can I name it max random? So max random rotation. Let's keep Unity compiling. Okay. Okay, it's good. Let's click play. So my random was to 0, so it's okay. 0, no rotation. Let's try 1, and 1 I can maybe have some kind of fully explode. So now we have some randomness. It's not really perceptible, but some of them are not really oriented in the okay. It's a little bit different, so maybe we can just simply change this by something like 15% of our quaternion. So okay, and I need to think a way of rotating, because we had a lot of angle, but how can I rotate around? Okay, so let's for a moment use less than 1000 elements, maybe 50, just to try and think about how we can rotate this. Maybe we can simply try to rotate them with the time. And the main idea is as I said, rotates on the x-axis, but I'm not sure about how I can achieve that right now. Okay. We have this. Perfect. Going back to our compute shader, let's open one we have made for rotation. I think it's off 6. Yes, we have a direction. So this was the direction and we tried the up from this. So let's try this. Okay. And then we transform everything like that. Okay. So this is the scale and let's try the rotation. Okay. So properties id.x point rot mat. Yeah. So this is it. Okay. Is equal to rotation. Okay. We have this angle this. So let's try that. Remember the direction was quite a random value. I'm thinking about the way to change this rotation, so let me keep my paper here and something to write. So I can change a little bit. So okay, so I have a vector here, I have its normal here, and I want to be able to rotate around this. So I know two vectors. I'm not sure I'm knowing the way to, I don't know the triangles, so how can I know the tangent? So maybe I need to bind the tangent. So it looks like I need to rotate around the tangent. So basically let's try to just change this a little bit. So this will be a flow 3. Let's try and see what happens if we rotate around the x-axis. Let's start with some elements. So first of all, I don't need that. Okay. Why does it say I have something like a scale problem? CS made not found. I've made a mistake in my shader. Yeah, it's a float, but it's a float 3 here. So this was the problem. Okay. Can go back here. look like I have the same. No? Let's wait. So it looks like it's rotating. So I need to have more elements to really understand. Okay. So if I have something like that, I have two tangents. Okay. So if I have 100 elements to check and try to see how it's rotating on all the shape, I think it's only rotating on one axis, directing on the world, I think. So, yeah. As I was thinking, this is rotating around one axis. Maybe we can try to rotate around the normal, just to check. I'm really not sure, but just to check. If I said that the opposite is the normal, just to try something like that. What's happened? Okay. Now we can try to understand how the scaling system works. Okay, 0 and 1000, and let's check. Okay. In fact, that might be efficient enough, because it might be strange to have the same rotation. So I think we can avoid computing the axis, the real axis. So my first idea was to take the normal. So yeah, my first idea was that. I'm not sure if you can see. I think I will need to draw with something more big. So the first idea was, this is the vertices, this is the normal, and I wanted something like the tangent, and of course this is another tangent. So this would be my rotation axis, and I would rotate over this, which is the x prime axis, which is our forward here, so or z. So this is right, and this is up, for example, or y. So this was my idea, but simply taking the normals and taking the normals and adding some randomness and then rotate around might be sufficient enough, or even simply using a curl noise, as we already have in fact. So let me retake this. So for example, this position, we don't need it, so we will get rid of that, although okay, so let's try this. We had this compute here, so this was our compute here, and we need some noise scale, of course, because we haven't have this here. So okay, and let me just show you what happened if we simply going back here. So let's take the normal and try to rotate around the normal. So okay, the normal is our axis right now, and in our compute we simply rotate over the time over the normal, which has not even some randomness inside of it. Okay, so let's try that. Let me put this aside just to be sure we will not rewrite it. My Unity is really okay. Okay, so as you can see, it's rotate around the normal. Okay, so now the movement is not really interesting, but we add some randomness, which give us some interesting results. So now if I use this, it might be sufficient enough to create our visual tricks without even computing any noise speed. Okay, so it might be enough without computing noise speed 0, any tangent, because we have a lot of elements, so it's enough. Okay, so noise scale, noise speed, so the scale is the same. So now I can say everything is fixed because original pose didn't move. So as you can see, we have this little randomness. So maybe we can add some pure random inside of it. So this was the oppose, the original pose. So we can keep the original pose. Do I need the original pose right now? I think not. So I will bind as the original pose. I will bind the norm list, the normal. So okay, I will take this. I will disturb the normal. Okay, and let's multiply it a little bit by 5. Everybody clap your hands. Okay, so this is more interesting now. We have some randomness, I think it's quite interesting. Or we can put some random here. So the random pose, I have an offset here, and the random pose scale, which was this, and I think I can create another random, which is not a random pose, but this will be random norm scale, which has a lap from, let's say, something like this to over time. Let's simply keep this value, in fact, that at a W, which is really basically a random per instance. Where the time is good to be. Okay. So now the scale based on the noise. So we have this rotation and we have the time. Okay, what I want is having some me think about that. So the max time was a random value, of course, but let's fix the max time for a moment so we will not have something different. Okay, this is a small time, okay, but we will use okay. We will use the time somewhere else. No, it's okay. And let's try something like that. So let's keep this. So the normalized 8. Okay. Okay, so if I want something like that, float scale will be equal to a smooth step of so we need a thickness, which will be 0.1. We need a smoothness, which will be 0.05. So the smoothness, so remember what we made in this shader, it's basically the same. Okay. So yeah, it's the norm time minus the thickness minus the smoothness. To the norm time minus the thickness. Okay, and our edge is the normalized y position multiplied by between parentheses 1 minus the smooth step of the norm time plus the thickness to the norm time plus the thickness plus the smoothness to norm y as a edge. So this is the scale can be put let's keep the same name so I will not need to change anything in my okay. Okay. Unexpected syntax error. Where did I make a syntax error? Here. If I don't activate the scale, if I don't bind it, it's not interesting. So now I have a scale from 0 to 1. Oh yeah, it used the original pose, but I need to know the actual position because we will be moving, so we will have these things. So this will not be the original pose, this will be the real position. No, the original pose is now the normal, so this is why my elements were disappearing at different places at the same time. But now I think I will see some line going up, from growth line. Okay, this is quite what I had in mind at first, something like that. Okay, this was what I had in mind, of course, and I think I can put some slider now directly from our element. So also we have something to consider, which is the same thing we've considered yesterday, by this is the edge. Where did I put the edge? Yes, this was this edge point where we lap our edge point between the edges. So in order to don't see the shape spawning right now at the bottom and disappearing right now at the top, we need to change the norm y to rescale up norm y edges. Okay, so basically the edge, so it's a lap. Okay, and as yesterday, when my point is 0, I need to be when my edge is 0, the time is 0, I need to be below 0 just enough to don't see the thickness, the smoothness, and the thickness. So it's basically 0 minus the thickness minus the smoothness. Okay, so that's the first edge, and the second edge is basically 1, of course, because it's normalized value, plus the thickness plus the smoothness, which is smooth and not smooth. And of course our value we simply put is the norm time that we've simply offset a little bit to be sure that we will consider the edge value. Maybe I put too many animation in the same idea, but I thought it would be interesting. So yeah, as you can see now, it's growing. So it's quite interesting. We can simply here I've made something like that, so random pose multiply by, okay. I'm not sure about the curl noise here. Maybe my axis might be direction might be simply our old pose right now. Do I need to animate this? Maybe not, I'm not sure. But I'm not quite confident about this part because we've seen during the animation a lot of green because a lot of elements were on the same direction. So randomness might be more interesting. Yeah, you see, it's interesting, but sometimes there is really more green. Not every time, but sometimes. Okay. Let's say we add a little bit of noise to it. So if this works, the next step, yeah, as you can see, true randomness is never a good option. Okay, 2.5, and let's say we will keep some animation here. What happens if we put the position and not the elements? So if this works, the next step would be to add some sliders to the GPU mesh controller just to be able to control the thickness and the smoothness of our elements. Okay, but then the next step, which is the more important, would be to having a way to change a little bit everything. So again, it's really too much of an animation. 0, 5. Yeah, would be to spawn another flower and having really the opposite animation. So when the main flower on its full are at their full growth, the other one will be scaled down and vice versa. Okay, so let's retake this. Let's check what we've made in the other compute shader from yesterday, just to be sure. Yeah, this one was also commented, so okay. So now I reactivate the position and I simply reduce the animation, and I will change this. So I need to create some uniform value. So uniform float thickness, uniform float smoothness. There will be global, so no problem. So this and this will be disabled. Okay, and I need of course to add them as public in my controller. So my controller is here. Everything is public. Color 1, color 2. So yeah, something like that. I prefer to keep the same names for them. So it would be range between 0, 1. So this and this. Okay. And now I need to bind them to the shader. So compute.set float thickness compute dot set float. smoothness. Okay. Okay. So I said at first the thickness of this. So I've put a thickness of 0.1005 at first, but let's try to tweak this value. I think we've modified everything, so it will be animated. Yeah, it will be animated, no problem. When Unity want to launch. Okay. I'm not even sure that the rotation is interesting, but it gives some kind of little animation, so why not? So as you can see now, if I want to scale this, so now you see it will be simply moving, so no problem. And I can say something like that, of course. Zero 0.25 is quite interesting. So 0.35, 0.25, no problem. I'm quite not sure about the rotation right now, but you know what? Let's check what's happened if we disable this part just a little bit. I was thinking about something like that, but I'm really not sure. So even without any rotation, it's quite interesting, as you can see. We can reduce the animation by something like that. Say we want some float max time. So yeah, usually as a naming convention, I will simply for any uniform put a marsh and an underscore as Unity use. So let's change this a little bit to be more consistent on the way I'm using this. So thickness, 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 and thickness, and thickness. Do I see thickness somewhere? Thickness. Okay. Okay, and the smoothness, which is here, smoothness. this will be changed to smoothness, 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 smoothness. Okay. And now I can change it here and here. Oops. Okay. And I've put the max time just to be sure to be able to change it here. So it would be that. So let's say this will be commented. And max time will now be equal to our simple okay. So now I can simply say that let's use a range. Oh no range for that. So public float max time, and by default I will say it will be 10, for example. And now I can simply bind it here. So I will say compute.set max time is equal to max time. So now I can simply maybe we don't use the scale. I thought it would be great to see something like rotating, so you know, something like that, but I'm not really sure. Smoothness doesn't exist in this current context. Yes, because it's not this, is it's thickness here. Okay, thickness and smoothness here. Okay. Your logic. Okay, we're ready to run the script. Why don't we see anything? I made a mistake somewhere, not sure why. Where, sorry. The long time is this by this, so it's a float, of course. So why? Let max time is equal to 4. When I said that, this is the mod time, this is the norm time, and this is the time. We have no rotation, so might not be a problem. clearly we made some change which has not been so why my scale here? What we have made here? I think this might be this might come from this. Yeah, this come from that. Okay. This is the main problem. I haven't changed. Okay. Yeah, I haven't changed the naming here. So this is now thickness and this is now smoothness. So I think this is all. Okay. Okay, we're ready. And now it's working with K. And then this kind of little, as you can see, there is some kind of stepping inside the animation. Might come from the way that the fact that the position is just going up and down like that a little bit. So might be this part, but yeah, why not? Okay. So let's try the other part. Okay. So I was searching also the way to compute the tangent of the normal, just to know in which axis I want to rotate. So okay, and it seems not to be quite complicated, but at first I prefer to work on the second part because the rotation is not really necessary right now. I can simply say, so the max time is okay, so I can simply say the max rotation will be 25, and it would be simply interesting enough, as you can see. Yeah. So yeah, as you can see, rotation is not really the most interesting element in this experiment. So let's keep this aside for a moment and try to oops, I re-click on play. I don't want that, but I wanted to stop on a good image for you. So I will need to, as I said earlier, retake the the other flower in C4D to be sure to have something with less elements. So let's wait until we have a full body, and now we can simply say stop. Okay, so you will have an image in the NDI output, which is the elements we want on the little part. Okay, so what we want is retake our little guy here, which is the oregano. Which one we want to retake? I don't remember. I think this one is the oregano hypoly. This is the obj. Okay, so I want to retake the FBX to be sure to have all the elements separately. So let's open it. Let's open the other to see oregano. So I've opened the FBX. Let's open the OBJ to try and see what's happened. Does it has any sub-element? Yeah, the OBJ has the sub-element. So it was the FBX which has every element. Let's rename. Don't want to keep. I don't want to keep. I'm not sure which one I want to retake. So this will be FBX, and this would be the OBJ. Okay. Rename OBJ. So now we will see which one has the element and which one has not. So the OBJ has the element, the FBX doesn't have it, so okay. Okay. Okay, this is the oregano, and I want to see all the vertices. So 2000, 5000, 50,000 for my, yeah. So there is too many elements. So let's break this part. Let's take this. Code number, assets, model. I think this is the foliage use another kind of texture, but the main elements are basically using this one. Okay, so let's reduce this by a polygon reducer. another polygon reducer here. On this one. Another one, polygon reducer. Okay. And another one. It's kind of hard to see the difference. Yeah, as you can see, it's better for this part. Better for this part also. This one might be better. Okay, let's take all the poly reduce. And try this. Okay. It's strange, this one doesn't want to change this. I don't know why. Polygon reduce. I think it's because it doesn't has fully compute everything, but I'm not sure. I will try to preserve the UV boundaries, of course. Let's export this as obj reduce and check it. It keep everything as the same obj. It has made this as a one object, but too many vertices again. So let's delete this part. Let's check if we can get rid of some of this. So basically this is important. The foliage, of course, is important. This seems to be the flower. I cannot zoom in it, so it's quite complicated to see everything. So let's create a new object, and this will be our parent. So I can scale up everything like 5 times. Okay. So now I can zoom in it. So this is the foliage. Okay, no problem. This seems to be some seed. This would be some kind of flower. Yeah. Maybe we can get rid of this part, but I'm not sure. but we can put some polygon reduction inside the polygon reduction. So this is available, so let's preserve the boundaries. Hopla, I don't want this, I want a polygon reducer. Okay, let's try to export this little guy now. OBJ red. Yeah, now I think we can use this. Something we can try is now put some texture in it. So I'm believing that the foliage is only for the leaves because it's the name. So it was the oregano. So let's take this. No. So the leaves will be the foliage color. I think it's that. Okay. And this could be the foliage also. Okay. And now we can basically see which one is interesting, especially in the color parts. So this is the bud. This is the flower. Okay. So of course this and this are quite important, but I think we can get rid of this little guy here, which might be the bud. I think, yeah, they're the bud. So let's get rid of the bud. Can we get rid of this? We can get rid of this part, or yeah, we can get rid of the first one. So this could be our flower. I hope it doesn't use any alpha, because I don't want to use alpha. So okay. So now I can break everything into an object. So this would be our stem, this would be our leaves, and this would be okay. So these are the flower, these are the leaves, and these are the stem. This is the stem. Okay, so less than 1,000. Okay, 300, 3,000, and 2,000. It's too much for us. So let's try a really hard poly reduce on this part. It seems this polygon reduction doesn't work on this flower, so let's try the other one. Okay, let's keep the object like that and try to save it, so we'll see how it's behave on Unity. So this will be our obj red. Unity is loading, so now we have it. Okay. Let's try to save the obj, but trying to preserve the elements. So scale is normals, okay. Preset. Texture cordia, I want that. Yes, I want export as a group. Okay. So now Unity might found different elements. Okay. So if I put this, it's really big. Sure, no problem. Of course, we don't see any elements. So let's duplicate our material. So this would be 1. And this would be 2. And we will create a new folder named mat1108 to keep everything in place here. And now that we have that, this would be 0 stem, or to stem, and this would be flower, and this name can be not the flower but the leaves. Flower, leaves, and stem. So flower will have our text, which is this one, of course, and leaf use the foliage, and stem use the foliage also, I think. So right now it's dark because we didn't use the our system, basically. Okay, so our elements are ready. Let's use this controller and let's duplicate this. Let's copy component and paste as new. And now we want to put our flower here with its own material. We'll also let's try only with the flower right now because it has too many vertices. So let's try with the flower at first, find a way to invert our animation inside the same compute shader by simply putting variables. And I think the best idea would be to simply say using a boolean. Oh, too many, and my computer is okay. So basically I think I really need to reduce this little guy which has too many flowers, and might be using the poly reducer. So I want to understand why this one, let's put this aside. Okay, so this is our main flower. Okay, so this is my main flower, but strangely when I use this polygon reducer, it doesn't seem to reduce anything. Let's try by this, and if I want to say it has the same number of elements, so I don't understand why this polygon reducer doesn't work. So let's try the other one, which was this one, another MoGraph, and this one might work, so no problem. Let's try to preserve the quality of the polygon, but as you can see it creates little guys, so I think this might be too, yeah, maybe by 50% might be enough. So how many elements we have now? Okay, too many I think. Okay, now we can try to put the flower inside our element, and this will be our flower radius. Okay, and I can export this one as the oregano red again, and I will replace our little guy. Fuck, I forgot to poly red here. Okay, forgot to preserve this as a group. So the flower red has no less vertices. Yeah, many less vertices. Okay. I just saw the NDA phrase frame, which is quite beautiful. In fact, to have this exploded flower. Kind of like the color. So, it's a little bit better, but really not optimized again. So how can we, maybe we can reduce again the shape, but I'm not sure, because reducing to reducing to reducing, maybe we can now use this second one because we have break everything, so maybe we can simply say this. Yeah, this was the problem. Okay, so maybe we can go back here and try our polygon reducer again. Okay, polygon reduction, flower, and I don't want to preserve the 3D boundaries. Okay, so as you can see, let's put this in the parent, let's say 10. I want to see what happened. 10 can be great. Okay. What happened if I take this? This would have less element now, so this is cool. Rename it. Yes, where is it? This red. Let me put C4 aside for a moment. Okay. A little bit better. Not perfect, but a little bit better. Let's try to simply reduce as we reduced our Babiana here, which has a reducer of 0.1 to check. So it's a little bit slow, but first of all, let's try to change our compute shader to try the inverse. So let's simply say public bool is time inverted, just to try this. By default it will be false. Okay, and this will be bind to the shader every time, so I can change the things. So compute dot set float. I cannot add a boolean to the shader, so basically I will need to bind is time inverted, to bind the float is time inverted, and I will simply use a ternary operator saying that if this is true, this will be 1, if not, this would be 0. Perfect. And now in the compute I need to add this little guy here. So a uniform float is time inverted, and I would say, where is my time? My time is here, this little guy. So I would simply say if this is equal to 1, so if it's true, then norm y h would be equal to 1 minus himself, so it would be inverted, and that might do the trick. Okay, it's ready. Let's now invert our time, save our scene because we haven't saved it for for a little bit long now. So yeah, we see a little bit our elements. They are here, but it seems they are. First of all, it seems they're too small, of course, and I think we really need to reduce again the number of polygons. This is not really what I have had in mind because everything is going from one side to another. But why not? As you can see, 20 frames per second. I think it would be a lot more. So I will start by. I can reduce the polygon again and again and again, but I'm not sure. I think the best way is to simply change the 3D model. So let's try that. So this one was interesting. Okay, this is what we've made. This one is interesting, but there is no color in it. This one has really too many elements. Okay, so going back to flower as a Unity package, FBX. Dandelion. Oh no, they are plain. I would need to create and we need to add some alpha to the shader. I don't want to work with alpha right now. This is beautiful, but this is not flower. We have seen this one. Interesting, but it's messed up totally. This one are beautiful. We have also some lists. I think this one might be interesting. They are blue again. I know that, and I think we will retake everything for the from the texture specifically, but let's try this importing to C4D, and then we will cut we'll cut some part of the 3D model. One model seems to have one multiple texture for various things, so it might be complicated. I don't want to remake everything, but let's try. Maybe the FBX has multiple model inside. I would prefer to simply play with multiple elements. Yeah, we have them. Okay, so this I don't want, this I don't want, this I want, this I don't want, this okay, and this I don't want. So maybe I can keep these ones. How many elements do we have in this? Yeah, I think we need to poly reduce a little bit this one, but yeah, why not? So let's try the polygon reducer. It's here. Okay, I will preserve the UV boundaries. As you can see, it seems to be working. Okay, look like it's working. How many elements do we have if I create this? Yeah, 6. Okay, so 8, 6. Okay, so I will try to add another one. And now we will have 7 to 8. It's not enough. Okay. Current state to object, how many do we have now? Yeah, 8,000. 7,000, so okay. Let's export this one in our project. Assets, model, flora. Let's name this flower because I don't know the name of the flower. Flower obj, and I want export object as group. Okay, so now we have this one. Which size it has? Oh, really, really big. 001. It's again too big. Okay. Now we're talking. Okay. So it has this little guys. It's good because it has some, but I'm not sure which one will be used. Dev Codevember assets model flora flower, and I will put this here just to check. Okay. Now okay, so let's try our model here, using the same materials, and let's try. First of all, let's just check. So the texture is basically not the good one. So okay, that's our main problem with this. So maybe we need another texture. Where was the texture that was here? Maybe it's this texture which can be used. And of course our 3D model is really too big, so this is of course the main problem. Okay. Okay. It's kind of strange. The shape is really, but it has three, because when I put that, it has an object, of course, which has multiple, yeah. That's the stable, the vector, and the button, of course. I really start thinking I will creating my own. So but how do that? First of all, let's correct our main problem. So my main problem is by inverting the time. So this was my problem. So yeah, this is the problem here. We have this kind of problem where everything is going in different directions, which is not what I wanted. What I wanted was something like that, going from 0 to 1, and I wanted this one, so I could have this and I could have this. So maybe I don't need to invert the time, but it might be more depending on the scale. So maybe the inversion is more here. So maybe it's something like that. If the new scale, then I will invert the scale. So the time is the same, but the scale is different. Yeah. So this is basically the idea. So the main thing now is to thinking about the flower. Maybe I can use pink cushion. I've already used them in another project, this one. I know how they work, so... Because it's really not beautiful, this one. try this one. This one. Or something like that, but it's a scan, so if it's a scan we will have a lot of elements. I'm starting considering using this one. Let's download them. They look like they are low polygon, so let's try this one. I know it's really poly, but I think if we lower the number of vertices it might be good enough. Yeah, too many elements on this one, so let's delete this. I also delete the oregano because I can use this one. So now let's take this and open this in C4D and try to poly reduce this one. Okay. Okay, now we have this. So I want to get rid of some of these things. So this thing is what? This in the cylinder, some kind of elements I don't want. Okay, this I don't want that. I don't want this part. And basically there is a lot of different elements which seems to have the same basic system, so it looks like they're all the same but duplicate all over the place. So let's try to get only one. Okay, changing its pivot, apply, okay, reset, okay. Okay, and now let's save this one. Let's check how many vertices it does it. Oh my god. Of course we need to create a poly reduction. Polygon reduction. Let's break it. How many do we have now? 12,000. Let's reduce again. Polygon reducer. Let's keep the UV boundaries this time. Okay, so now, yeah, 5,000, it's better. Let's export the OBJ and say dev codevember assets model flora monstria. Okay, and now let's try our new little guy here, which could be going, it will be going here. So first of all, let's put in this to check the size. So 0,001. Some kind of pretty leaves. So I think a reduction of 0,1 might be enough to try. Okay. Okay. It's better than I thought. Let's use the stat. The stat is pretty harsh, but it's better than I thought. So now I can simply take the leaves texture and try to add them in our folder. Okay. This is a normal map. Okay, now we can use this one. This is deleted. This also, and I will rename this one. So we use the diffuse, the no map, metallic will be the roughness. So yeah, now it's more interesting, as you can see. But it's also too many elements. So again, I will try to reduce a little bit our elements to 98% and keep the UV boundary 90%. Okay, this would be the last trick. I think I cannot do more than that. Okay. This would be Monstria plant 2, which has the same size 0.1. So we could also, of course, try to change a little bit the scale with up and down, etc., etc. Something like maybe 25%, just to be sure, and we can increase the rotation here by 1.